Welcome to the world of probiotic foods. This is Cultured Food Life with your host, Donna Schwenk.
Welcome, everybody, and thanks for joining me. We're going to be talking about the many health benefits of eating yogurt and a little bit about kefir too, and how it can not only make your life better, your health better, but also extend your life. And I love to make kefir. I've been making it for over 20 years, but I really, really enjoy making yogurt. I started making yogurt more and more this last year, and it's really turned my world upside down because I have a love affair with kefir. With every part of me loves kefir, and I've been doing it for so many years. But there were certain beneficial strains that kefir didn't have that I wanted. And one of those very important strains was Bifidobacteria. And it's a strain that I think we need in abundance, and it isn't in kefir. But what is interesting about it is that kefir helps to feed this strain if you consume it. So it's kind of a mutual beneficial association between these two bacteria that's really important. And so what happened was I now have a yogurt that has this strain in it. It's called Yogurt Plus. But I also make gallons of other yogurts too. And I did not expect to experience the wonderful side effects that I got from yogurts like Yogurt Plus, El Reuteri yogurt, El Gasseri. And these yogurts have been phenomenal because there were certain strains that weren't in kefir that have really, I think, absolutely changed everything for me. And I didn't expect it. I really didn't. But there's so many reasons why these different strains are important. So let me start with Bifidobacterium. It has long been regarded as the most beneficial member of the human gut microbiome. There's so much research out now about it too. It's growing in research everywhere. Having lower levels of this beneficial bacteria has been shown in obese people, diabetic individuals, and individuals who take a lot of antibiotics. So it also is affected. They also notice that they have lower levels of bifido in people who have IBS or irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease. All of those people always seem to correlate having very low levels of it. The easiest way to get bifidobacteria is to take human milk oligosaccharides. Now, those are called HMOs, and you get these from your mother when you're born. And you take them for a short period of time. You can take them in a capsule form. I put them in my smoothies. And then you switch to foods. It doesn't take very long to build up your bifido if you take HMOs. It's actually not made from human milk. It's a fermentation process. But it's the same type of thing that you get when you're born. And you get it from your mother's milk and when you go through the vaginal canal. And it doesn't take very long to build it up. And it's pretty fast. And then you can supplement with HMOs from time to time. But I found after about a month, you don't really need them as long as you're eating a diet that feeds the bifidobacteria. And I have lots of things like berries, and bifido likes resistant starches. Kefir feeds it. There's all these things. You get a real good, strong baseline going, and then you feed bifido, and it just does so many things for you. It's really boosts your immune system hugely. And there's a lot of evidence now that it's very effective in fighting any viruses. And a lot of peer-reviewed studies have coming out saying bifido tells your immune system to boost itself to help fight things, colds and flus, and all different kinds of just immune responses that you have. If you have a lot of bifido, you're going to handle it better. Now, human milk oligosaccharides they're specific carbohydrates, like I said. And they're essentially just a super prebiotic. So taking them, I have a product that you can sell from Layer Origins. It's called HMOs, and it just works through a very precise fermentation and bioidentical HMOs that deliver all the benefits without the human milk in the product. So here's the deal. When you take these HMOs, they promote the powerful growth of Akkermansia muciniphila, which helps heal, seal, and protect the gut lining, which is very important, especially if you have IBS or leaky gut syndrome. And it helps to seal that barrier in the gut. And once you're done taking HMOs for about a month, you'll have a really good base. And then, like I said before, you got to feed it powerful bacteria to keep it growing and multiply. Now, Bifidobacterium is at a level of 95% when you're born, and it can be as low as 5% as you get older. So you really want a lot of this Bifidobacteria. They call it the young bacteria. And the foods that feed it, like I said before, is berries, kefir, yogurts. Like I have the Yogurt Plus. I also have a new kefir soda starter that has Bifido in it. And they're all really good to feed this powerful bacteria. And it takes, it only takes a few hours to make. Like this yogurt takes like 6 to 8 hours to make. And then you're getting lots of Bifido in your diet. But you're also getting delicious yogurt too. And you want to keep that Bifido levels in your body very strong. And prebiotic foods, berries, fruits, resistant starches like green bananas, oatmeal, things like that are all going to feed Bifido in a very powerful way. And a lot of people are taking supplements and pills, but they don't work very well because the stomach acids usually kill them, and they also can open up the parts of the body where you don't want them. So I don't recommend that because there was a period of time, it was probably 7-8 years ago, I took some that had it in it, and it gave me some problems. So it's huge amounts of prebiotics opening up where they don't belong. So I really recommend getting it in foods or through HMOs. Now, in certain parts of the world, kefir and yogurts have been strongly linked to people who have lived to be over 100 years old. In the Caucasus Mountains, kefir is called the miracle food. It's a staple food that they have all the time. And many people there have lived to be over 100 years old, and some claim to have lived to be much older. And I've done my research on yogurt too, and many of those people who have lived well over into the hundreds lived over 100 years old have consumed yogurt daily too. They use it as a dessert or a meal, which I do that all the time. Okay, for instance, Bulgarian yogurt has a very rich history surrounding it. It dates back to Thracians, ancient inhabitants of Bulgarian lands. It's very interesting that stock breeders would place sheep's milk in lambskin bags and put it around their waist, and they would create fermented yogurt using their own body heat. And they credit themselves with Bulgarians' only source of yogurt. They also produce one of the healthiest yogurts in Europe thanks to a unique bacteria native to their country. Dr. Stamen Gringove found that specific lactobacillus bacteria responsible for the yogurt's fermentation, and then he went on to identify Streptococcus thermophilus bacteria, which coexisted with Lactobacillus dubreuilliae and the subspecies Bulgarius, which is a subspecies of that. And in a perfect combination, these three species, and they're also in kefir. These three species are also in kefir, but they also earn a lot of yogurts. And interestingly, Dr. Gringovich's discoveries, the Nobel Prize-winning Russian scientist Ilan Mekovich noted that more the people that lived to be the age of 100 in Bulgaria than in any of the 36 other countries that he studied. And he directly linked this to the consumption of yogurt. Now, studies show that Streptococcus thermophilus and Bifidobacterium longum work on anxiety and depression-like behaviors in the body. They did a study on mice too, and they subject them to social dominance test tube behaviors, and they ranked the gut microbiome, the expression of inflammatory cytokines, and the BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotropic factor, in the hippocampus, where they measured everything. And the results indicated that it improved their ranking scores, it alleviated their anxiety, they became more, they were considered more dominant as far as they would win more of the challenges that they gave them. And it decreased the levels of harmful bacteria in their gut. And it increased this succeeding and anti-anxiety attitude in them, and they did much better on all the tests because they changed their gut microbiome with these powerful two bacteria. Now, we have all these strains in Yogurt Plus, Streptococcus thermophilus, Bifidolongum plantarum, which is also in cultured vegetables, and L. Bruchii species, and Bulgaris. We have all of that in Yogurt Plus. And it's one of my new favorite yogurts that I've been making nonstop, because I can even make this yogurt into sour cream if I just use heavy cream and I just ferment it for I usually ferment it for 12 hours, and I have a recipe for that. It makes the most delicious probiotic sour cream you've ever had. I mean, it is the bomb. It's delicious. And it also has L. reuteri in it, which is a different strain from our other starter, but it's still really, really good. So I have found that supplementing with these strains together has been found to significantly improve any kind of gastrointestinal disorders. We're hearing that from a lot of people who have IBS and are having like chronic diarrhea. We've seen it do a lot of improvements for these people. And we've also found that it gives you a wonderful sense of well-being and wellness. And you can make a batch in as little as 6 hours, like I said. I love to put one of my favorite things. Okay, what I had this morning, I had it with a green banana, which was a little bit yellow. The more green it is, the more resistant starch you get in the banana, which feeds your gut microbiome too. And I put walnuts in it. I put blueberries, and I put a little bit of honey. And I love that for breakfast. That's a great one that I have a lot. It has a lot of flavor. It has a lot of things you can add it to, like you can make dips with it. If you use a milk that's thicker and has more fat, it creates a very, very creamy dip that I absolutely love. And also you can do all kinds of things with it. You can make smoothies. You can make, like I said, you can make the sour cream. I've made like tiramisu with it. It's just such a good flavor, but it has so many beneficial bacteria in it that it's a really healthy yogurt. But it also is, I love the fact that it has Bifidobacteria, which is one of the more powerful bacteria that you can consume. And I love showing you different ways where you can strengthen your microbiome. Like I talked to you about the HMOs, I think that's really important, that people get a good foundation going, and it can increase very, very fast. I've seen a lot of people test their microbiomes with this, and within a few weeks, they've just, their Bifidobacteria just goes through the roof. It's pretty impressive. But the more strains you have of that, the healthier your all over your gut is. And we even have a new kefir soda starter that has Bifido in it. It also has Saccharomyces boulardii, which is a very, very, very powerful yeast. It's what makes it bubbly. And all of these, now, for instance, that yeast doesn't last in the body very long. And what it does is it attracts pathogens to it, steals their food, and then within about 2 to 3 days, it's exited from the body. Well, I think it's 3 to 5 days. And then it takes those pathogens with it because they can't get away from it. And having Bifido in there also strengthens, like I said before, the gut lining. And guys, so many people are having trouble in their life because their gut lining is damaged or is not sealed, because then you're leaking out into your bloodstream. People get food allergies. And food allergies are often caused by missing bacteria in the gut. And once you replace those good bacteria in the gut that are missing, your food allergies go away. And I have seen this hundreds of times. I saw it with my own daughter. I've seen it over and over again with people. Once you kind of slowly reintroduce these good bacteria into your gut, then everything gets better and your food allergies go away. And because you're needing them, I mean, you're 100 trillion bacteria. That's who and what you are. And those are there put in place for you to thrive. And as we understand that, I mean, the microbiome is everything. It has so many strengths to it, and it has so many jobs. You have more T cells, which will help you fight, viruses and pathogens. You'll strengthen your immune system. Your body just knows how to keep you well, but you've got to feed your body the things that it needs. And it's a powerful way to do it. Yogurt is powerful. For years, I just thought you needed kefir, until this last year when I started realizing what a difference these other yogurts can make. They're just so powerful. All of them, L. reuteri, L. gasseri, plus all of them have essential bacteria that your body needs that, for instance, like L. reuteri, it lives in the upper gastro area whereas other bifido lives down in the colon and things like that. So it's essential that you have the right ones in the right place. And if you've been taking a lot of antibiotics, you've knocked them out. And so having these yogurts go back into your body, I mean, not yogurts, having these bacteria go back into your body through eating yogurts, which is the best way for your body to handle these bacteria because it knows what to do with food. Then you're adding back these missing bacteria that most people missing because, for instance, with L. reuteri, 94% of the population has knocked it out with an antibiotic. It only takes one. And so it really is a very needed thing in this day and age to have these essential bacteria so that we can combat things like SIBO. A lot of people are taking probiotic supplements, and what happens is they open up in that upper area, and then you're getting a lot of bacteria that doesn't belong there. And then you have SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, because bacteria that don't belong there are opening up in there, and then you've got a mess. Now, luckily, L. reuteri and L. gasseri, both of those two worked to get rid of SIBO. It takes a little bit of time. It makes a yogurt to do it. I just got a letter the other day from somebody else who had SIBO for 4 years, and then it's interesting. It's so interesting what food can do, and it's just food. It's not pills. It's just food, and it's making people well. It's fabulous, and it tastes good. It's fun to make, and it's very affordable and easy to do. And like, for instance, when you make some of these yogurts, you can use a portion of it to make another yogurt. You can use that as a starter. So you don't have to buy the sachets all the time. You just use that and it'll do it over and over and over again. As long as you do it on a regular basis, it works very, very well. And that's with all the yogurts. It works really good. So I love that. I love that it's very affordable for people, easy, fun. And there's nothing better to me than looking in my fridge and seeing yogurt and kefir hanging out in there. And I have all different jars and sizes, and it's a lot of fun to make. And so I encourage you to try some of these yogurts and kefir too. It's fabulous. It's been life-changing for me. That's why I keep doing it. I'm not doing this just because it's fun or anything. I do really enjoy it, but I'm doing it because it does so many things for me and keeps me so healthy, so well, so young, and full of energy that I never want to go back to the life that I had when I didn't feel good and had health problems galore. And I give all the credit to these cultured foods. They are fabulous. So I hope you'll check it out. I hope you'll check out some more of these yogurts. You don't have to believe me. You just need to try them to see what difference it'll make. I'm selling so many of these yogurt starters because they make people well. I had one lady write me and say they've been doing M&M. They're traveling on the road, and they've all been making them in their RVs. There's a bunch of them traveling together, and they're having a blast. They stop and make yogurt and then pick up and move to the next location. I love that. I think that's great because they say it makes it feel so good. So I hope you'll check out some. Try and give them a whirl. See at least, even if you don't want to do the yogurt, at least start with kefir. That's where I started. What a difference that has made in my life. I still have it every single day. It has 50 plus bacteria in it, and you can't hardly beat it. What a difference it has made for me. So give the yogurts or kefir a try, see how you feel, see how you do, and you can live longer on these foods. I'm telling you, it can make a big difference for you. Thanks for listening, guys, and we will talk to you next time.